everything is bigger because there's a lot more space than Europe. Europe we're more cramped in general, which is why we live in cities like this. And in the US, the size of cars are huge in the United States.
Yeah. Nice,
but dude, you mentioned you're going to Bulgaria. I have to ask. How fucked up?
It was pretty fucked up when I was a kid.
No.
How long did you stay in the States?
4 years.
So from 11 to 15?
Yeah.
Did you hear the speech, the State of the Union by Biden?
I saw bits of it. I think he was more awake. I don't know what meds they put him on, but he was a bit more awake for his standard.
If I was an American guy, maybe I would be a little bit more Republican than Democrat. But for me, Trump is not like my type of Republican.
Oh, we're here. So,
cheers, man.
Cheers.
Finally, after 4 months or something, or actually years, me telling you we should start this podcast, and now that the podcast scene is like kind of dying, we're joining. So we're gonna finish it. We're gonna kill it.
Yes, we are at the forefront of everything. Cheers to us.
So, because people don't know who the fuck we are, we're gonna be the first, I think one of the first like non-English country-based podcasts to be in English. So it's gonna be fucking awesome for our American fellows to hear some stories from Europe. And you're from Spain, me from Bulgaria. They both don't know where they are.
No. Only the Europeans are gay. That's the only issue, but that's it.
And we're in Germany, the Germany country. So how did you end up here? First of all, you started in Spain.
I started in Spain. I lived most of my life there, and I did a few years in the US as well. And studied later in Spain, and somehow I ended up in Germany. Don't ask me to.
Okay, how it is? How is Spain? So like everything we know about Spain, like I don't know how much Americans know about Spain. First of all, you were a lot in America and South America, like that was fucking Spain. Also part of the states were Spain, like Arizona, Nevada, California, all those are Spanish names.
Florida, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, all of this stuff belonged to Spain. And at some point the Americans said, actually first the Mexican kept it and the Americans took it from the Mexicans. That's how it was.
Do you grow up with nostalgia in Spain about those times when you had...
Oh, definitely. I mean, the time... with the conquistadors. I think the way they studied in Latin America, the conquistadors were like evil bastards that were killing everybody, which is kind of true. And whereas in Spain, it's like, these heroes who took over all, like with 4 or 5 guys, they took over thousands of continents and people and everything. Fun times, really.
So you were in Spain. How was it growing up in Spain? And why did you said you mentioned you ended up in the States at some point? So introduce me, because like we know each other from work, but at work we don't have the time to chat about all this stuff. So we just have like these short chit chat moments.
True. Normally at work is, do you have the plan? No, fuck. Yeah.
We are architects for the people who don't know.
Yes. Don't do it. Anyway, no. I mean, yeah. I was born in Spain, guilty here, and. Lived most of my childhood there, and at some point, because of my father's work, we moved to the US. He worked, something about the embassy.
As a diplomat, exporting democracy to countries.
Yes. A diplomat in the name of NATO. And so we ended up in the US. A few years there. Kind of interesting experience.
How old were you when you ended up in the United States?
11. From 11 to 14, 15. It was my age there. So it's middle school in the United States. We lived in Maryland, which is, in Washington, D.C., the capital. Not that many people live there. It's more like...
Whether diplomats or rednecks?
Mostly diplomats and a pretty big ghetto, too.
What were your expectations about the States? Because I am born in Bulgaria in the 90s, which is like being born in the 80s in any other country, because we're 10 years behind. And I managed to... I watch these American movies, especially also the kids one, like Home Alone, and there was one Matilda something, which are based in New York. And like it was like watching another planet. It was like super different compared to all the gray communist buildings, and there was not much shiny stuff in Bulgaria in the 90s. You, as a Spanish guy, at 10 years old, you figure out you're going to go to the States. what were your
initially it's
expectations?
a lot of fear. I mean, you're going to another country, another language, another thing. I knew some English, but dog, chicken, something like that. And fear at the beginning. Then when we showed up there, it was cool. It's a little bit. The sitcoms, they get it kind of right. All these series, in school, there's the cool kids, there's the this, there's the that. There's politics involved even between the children there. So it was a little bit like what we see in the movies. I was in middle school there in Maryland, Kevin Middle School. And it was an interesting experience. Terrifying at the beginning because of the language mostly and, the lifestyle there. I suppose when you're a kid, it's kind of fun, but it's like house garden, house garden, house garden, house garden. 10 miles more, house garden, house garden, house garden. So when you're 10, 12, it's all right. You meet with your friends, buzz around with the bike. But if you're in your late teens, it could be a bit boring sometimes.
But they get cars earlier. So because we have this setup in Europe, I don't know if all the Americans know it. Like we live in the city center. Last year, 2 years ago, I think it was now, I managed my dream to go to the States. I went for 3 weeks. I went to New York, which is, in my opinion, the most, it's like the most European city on steroids by America.
Fair.
And then we went to Philly and to DC. And I thought like, okay, I need to book, because in every relationship, I'm in a relationship. In every relationship, there is like a person that organizes all the travel. In my case, it's me. And I booked all the flights, all the hotels and blah, blah, blah. And in Philly, there were no hotels that were affordable. So I found this Airbnb, like this house, guest house, whatever, very close to the city center of Philadelphia. I thought like, well, this is practical. We can go by car. We can park there and we can go to... We ended up in a fucking ghetto. And then I Googled. It was like one of the most dangerous places in Philly.
But dude, it's the city of brotherly love.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
But then Desiree, my girlfriend, told me like, what the fuck, dude? Like everybody in America lives in the suburbs and not in the city center. The city center is like where you get killed. So I was like, okay, I didn't know that. So how that was the difference.
That's the deal. In DC, there's this center area called the Mall area where there's the White House, the Capitol, all the cool monuments, amazing museums, by the way. Then there's the downtown, which is
we went there.
kind of horrifying, There's this ghetto kind of area there in DC, and a lot of people, well, I must say, the people that I mixed with, they lived in this suburb area, which it is kind of boring, which is house garden, 10 more miles, house garden, and that's the deal. It is true in the US, when you're 16, you can drive.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. So that's why kids get quickly the driver's license, and they fuck off and do whatever they want around. Nothing good.
When we were in DC, 2 blocks away from the White House, there was a park. I don't know what is it called. It was full of tents, like all these homeless people.
Some needles, maybe.
And then there were like you see, it's very interesting because you see all these people like in suits, super dressed, super tidy, passing by, walking like it's normal to have a fucking people coming out of the tent and be like, oh, let's brush my teeth.
Take a shit on the sidewalk and see what happens.
And like the White House is really like 1 block away. And this is something that in Europe cannot really happen. It's starting to happening on my way to work. I see in this station like because homeless people here sleep in the stations mainly because it's warmer and covered. And in the east side of the city, they were starting putting like a little bit of a living room in one of the station. But like the third day, the German police arrived. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
You better pack up and get the fuck out of here. And well, in Germany, I have noticed in the central stations, it is kind of a shit show.
Oh, yeah. Here in Frankfurt is the worst. We have also that fentanyl clinic where it's like zombie land. Like if anyone comes to Frankfurt, Germany, don't go in the red light district.
It's going to the zoo, really. And you get AIDS. So that's the other thing. But
and so which time of the year did you arrive in the States? And what were let's start with the good thing first. What were the first thing that you arrived and said like, oh, this is like super cool. I'm super happy to be here.
I think the size of things in the US is everything is bigger because there's a lot more space than Europe. We're more cramped in general, which is why we live in cities like this. And in the US, the size of cars are huge in the United States.
Yeah.
For them to see a little crappy smart, they're going to say, what's that little crap? And the size of things, the size of food, the size of everything, it was huge, everything. That was impressive at the beginning, especially when you're 10, 11, that's...
Air conditioning, was it a thing?
Yeah, but, in Spain we have it too. It's not. Although, in school I would get funny questions like, "So in Spain, do you wear shoes?" and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. Some people really knew nothing about anything.
Even the people in DC, I thought they were like more world oriented.
I think some were just messing around. Some were really serious. Like, do you have TV in Spain? It's like, yeah, we do. It's weird questions. Well. Let's start. We're not trying to shit on the Americans here, but it's true. Most of them think Spain is in South America.
But let's say this thing also, like a lot of Europeans shit on Americans that they don't know anything about geography. Mm-hmm. But if you ask the average European to tell you where the different states of the United States are, they don't have fucking clue. Like if you ask me, I don't know. Like I have to always check it. Like I know more or less by now, but I miss a bunch of states that are in between. Yeah. So I don't think it's like, Americans don't know like the European countries, but do you know like the African countries, or do you know the like South Asia countries?
Exactly. Like here in Europe, you say, "Oh, I'm from Austria," and in the US, where's that? But you ask a European or an Austrian guy, like, do you know where's the state of Ohio? No clue.
Somewhere in the middle, I think.
True.
But I don't know exactly where. If you ask me who is neighboring Ohio, I'm like, I don't know. So you everything bigger. How was the house? Was it the house cool?
It was pretty good, yeah. It's a house with a big garden. It's a pain in the ass, though, to clean up the leaves in autumn. In autumn, the leaves fall down, and the neighborhood expects you to take care of the garden because the garden is the representation of the neighborhood. So if you leave it alone, you could get in trouble with the neighborhood. Like you need to clean the leaves, cut the lawn, and the whole thing, mow the lawn.
I was talking exactly about this. We were watching a movie 2 days ago about this American football guy. It's called Underdog something. It's about a true story that they're obsessed with their grass, and it's amazing.
The lawn has to be perfect. Also, it's. I'm guessing this wasn't the same everywhere in the US, but it shows how privileged it was. The district houses were not locked. You could really go into your neighbor's house just by opening the door. No key, no lock, nothing.
You
could
gun.
Just get in. That is true. So you're risking it at your own peril.
Did you have an experience with guns in the United States? Because like here in Europe, I was Googling like at some point, I think they like, I don't know what was exactly the time. I think in the 1800s, maybe in beginning of 1900s, because we were watching the movie, the show, what the fuck is called, the one with Cillian Murphy, where the gangsters in the Peaky Blinders. Yes. So like I was thinking like, when did they forbid to carry a gun in the Europe?
I don't know actually. Yeah. Watching that show, my drinking got off the rails because they're drinking whiskey all the time, and I'm like, oh no, I do fancy a whiskey right now, and I had to put a stop to it for my own self.
Yeah, my girlfriend was the same. She wanted to drink. I was like, okay, I don't have. I'm not a big drinker, but with Bulgarian genes, I can really take it a lot.
I'm not a big drinker either. I'm not sick, but you mentioned the US and guns. Yeah. I mean, I never got shot at. That's the thing. So school was relatively safe. I did had some weird occasions where we were playing with my brother, with my cousins, whatever, with toy guns, and it could rile up the neighborhood because some neighbors would think that they're real guns. The police would come and they would think that might be a real thing. And you could get a warning from the police, like, what are you doing here? What's going on? We hear there's a gun around. Cool it. It's like, okay, yes, officer. That's pretty much the deal. I mean, in the US, if the police stops you, there's one answer. Yes, officer. Nothing more. There's no, my rights, anything. No.
Have you seen the meme that it's going around the internet right now in Instagram? There is always a white cop and a black guy, and they're starting to race, like So the black guy started running, and the police cop, because he's not that fast, he just stopped and like talks in his radio. It's like black male running at the and the black male has to stop.
Jesus, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
But
it's an American meme, so like
guns in the end are part of the culture. Like, you know, in summer, my parents would do the classical thing, which is drop the kids away in summer camp so that they can have, I don't know, time alone, whatever. And activities in summer camp were paddling, tennis, rifle shooting. And for Europeans, that's insane, I know. But in there, it's really part of the culture. It was very normal. And when you were getting a little bit better with the 22 rifle, you would go up to a more scoped rifle, like a sniper-style rifle. It's... I know. For Europeans, this is what the hell, but for the...
I've never shot a gun. Like I have an uncle that he's a hunter, and he had also this gas rifle with this little
compressed air pellets.
Yeah, they're out of metal, but they're like, you cannot kill a person. You can hurt a person. Yeah. If you hit them in the eye, you can hurt them pretty badly. Probably blended. But you can kill a bird. Like, yeah. So we were shooting with this sniper because he had a tree with some fruits. And he tells, hey, guys, if you want to shoot the birds.
I think, in Europe, if you're going farms, they have more guns and stuff. And they have these a lot for population control of birds. In the granaries, to keep the grain under control, sometimes birds go wild there. And there's a lot more of those like compressed air guns and also normal guns. Yeah. But never shot a gun, Georgi. So there you have it, viewers. Georgi, we didn't know he was gay.
Well, we are going to Bulgaria because in Bulgaria, I figure out you can shoot at the shooting range for like 50 cents. 10 Bulgarian cents, which is 5 cents euro per like, what is it called?
Round? Bullet?
Round, yeah, but bullet. So we're gonna do that, and I'm really psyched about it. I have to ungay myself and start shooting those.
Ungay yourself. Ungay yourself. We created a new expression. That's an interesting one.
Did you ever go to school with your fake guns?
I did, actually. History class. We had to do some reenactment thing of the Holocaust, and I was supposed to be a Nazi guard. Of course. And so I had
what the fuck do you do at school?
A toy gun. Yeah. With the Holocaust, we made a big deal of it, but also the Germans. So, that's one thing in common. And there was a whole stage where the Nazi guard is picking up the Jewish guy and such and such and such. And I brought a toy gun to make it more look realistic. The toy gun was confiscated by the principal. They called my parents, and it was kind of an issue. But
you didn't think about it because you were a kid? Or what was like... Did you tell your parents, like, I'm planning on bringing my own toy guy?
No, I just took it at 12, I think. I don't know. You're playing a guard has a gun. That was my logic. And it looked pretty realistic. It wasn't, obviously. But, I got in trouble. They called my parents. And, my dad had weapons. And so he was a bit concerned at the beginning. But then it didn't make sense for him. So I didn't get my ass whooped. That's the...
Yeah, because, of course... You're a kid living in Europe, coming from Europe. You don't know if something's going to go wrong. Did they get scared when they saw it?
When I pulled it, there was a bit of silence, especially from the teacher at the class.
She was like,
and he asked me to stop what I was doing and took the gun and such and such. So there was, but no, the students didn't run away and say, "Oh, psychopath in the room, let's get out of here." And no, that didn't happen. It wasn't so dramatic. But the teacher did come and say, "Hey, stop. I'm taking that."
So you're saying in America, they don't play guns. They really only shoot real guns.
If you're going to do it, you do it the right way.
Okay. We do the gay version of guns.
Exactly. Air compressed guns because I'm a flower. And
nice.
But dude, you mentioned you're going to Bulgaria. I have to ask. How fucked up it is?
It was pretty fucked up when I was a kid. It was a pretty fucked up thing. So my parents, my dad, the moment 1989, the moment the Berlin Wall fell, and like the first block of countries were free, he and a friend of his, they just fucked through the border really quickly, and they were going to Italy by train, and they hopped off the train in Slovenia, crossed the border on foot, and I don't know, got to Venice, and then they were heading down to Rome, and they missed for one day to get a visa as a political refugee to Australia.
Australia?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, so that was my dad. And a few months before leaving, my dad started dating my mom. But I don't know, they had a weird relationship.
Did he say, I have an Australian visa?
No, he didn't have the Australian visa. My mom kind of wants to break up with him because he didn't take her home. Back in the days, like in the 90s, if you don't take like to the door your girl, you're pretty asshole.
Piece of shit.
And but a few months later, he called her and he said, "I'm in Rome. I would love you to join me." And they were 20, like 20 something. And my mom was planning to go. She asked her parents. They said no. So she started putting clothes in her friends' houses so that she can leave.
Jeez.
But my grandma noticed and said to her, "Bring back your fucking clothes." So my mom left just with a purse, just with a bag, like
Damn.
nothing. And
did she call like a month later?
no, she called the same day from a public phone. But back in the days, they didn't have any Skype, they didn't have any internet,
Of course.
and my grandparents didn't even know my father. They never had met him before, so he had to call them and tell them and like whatever. And then they stayed 2 years in Italy, and then my mom got pregnant. They married, and they went back. So I'm made in Italy, literally, but produced in Bulgaria.
That's the deal.
That's the deal. And then we stayed from 92 to my dad left again 98 for Italy because Bulgaria was like in the 90s it was wild because it was like, you know, it was a communist country before and then it was capitalist country. So imagine there is a place where there is no business at all, like nothing. Everything was state owned, but you cannot have like continue having state owned supermarkets or like stores or grocery stores. So people started their own businesses, and my dad started a shop that produced furniture. And the first 3 to 4 years, they were doing crazy money. He would earn like, I don't know, an yearly salary maybe in 1 day, 2 days. You know, they bought an apartment and stuff like that. But then 97, this few years of like happiness ended because there was hyperinflation in Bulgaria. So like everything was skyrocketing up. And he didn't have good relationship with his business partners. So also, I don't know what exactly was going on, but because of this hyperinflation, there was not enough food, not enough, like your money was worthing shit from one day to the other. So he borrowed some money and he said like, fuck off, I'm going to go back to Italy, work for a couple of years, come back. Because back in the days, one salary in Italy, like, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000 was like more than a yearly salary in Bulgaria. They were making, I remember my mom, when I was a kid, she was making $150 a month. But in Bulgaria it was fine, you know, like stuff would cost nothing. So I was 6 or 5.5, 6 when my dad left. And that's probably the most sad moment of my life because I remember he took me to bed and then the day later he was gone. And we didn't have Skype again, so he would call once a week from a public phone, 5 minutes, yeah, and he would be like, "Hi, how are you? How are you?" And that's it. And so his plan didn't go according to so like yeah, the plan was like he stayed from 98 and by 2000 he managed to, because he was illegal, he was undocumented in Italy, but Italy, it's this country where there are no rules. That's why they were going. That's why he didn't come to Germany, because in Germany you cannot work undocumented, but in Italy you could. And because there were so many undocumented people, our friend Silvio Berlusconi,
Silvio,
like God bless him, and he might rest in peace. He did a law that you can legalize yourself. You can go and say like, "Bro, I'm here, I'm working." They offer me a contract, which was a big, you know, a lot of. Italians exploit the foreigners because you needed to like accept any conditions just to get a regular contract.
Okay, but the law was if you have a contract, you get a visa. If you have a working contract.
Yeah, if you have a job offer, you can go there and like self-declare yourself in the country and you get a permit to stay. So my dad did that. He told me like he had to go like in some police stations in Rome and stay over the night to stay in a line with like all the possible countries from the world. Because also back in the days, there were not so many internationals in Italy. I mean, there were maybe some from Morocco, maybe some from Albania, but like, yeah, and a lot of people undocumented. And everybody would know that they're undocumented, but there was no problem. Yeah, so he got the papers, and then after you get the papers, if you if you show that you're married, you get automatically the papers for your wife and your kids. So in 2000, in the summer, like a month before my birthday is in August, so we went there July. We finally managed. I remember also we went to the embassy to do some lines to get a visa because back in the days Bulgaria was no whatsoever part of the European Union. We had even visa to go visit. And then after a while, they dropped the visa. You could go for 3 months and so on and so on.
How old were you when you went to Italy?
I was 7 and I was about to turn 8.
Okay, you're a kid, but you've grown, you know your language, you know everything. Like when you go there, you might have a crash with the whole language and the style of the people and everything. Like, did you understand anything when you got there? Did you say...
No.
But good day.
I mean, when you're a kid, like, you're still very young. So, like, you're very... like a white piece of paper that hasn't been written a lot on it. So you can learn a lot quickly. And I have this, this experience with, for example, when I was learning German and when I was learning Italian, that when I was a kid, I would ask a person, how do you say this? And they say like bottle. And I'm like, okay, this is bottle. Now I know it. Mm-hmm. And when I was learning German, they tell me like Flasche. And I'm like, okay. And then, fuck, what was it? So it was super easy to learn. And I was super motivated because in my kid's brain, I was thinking, if my dad left us to go live in this country, it must be fucking awesome.
It be epic.
Or he hates us. I don't know.
Probably number 2.
Or he wanted to escape, but he didn't manage. And yeah, I remember we I flew in a plane for the first time. Like that was a big deal back in. I remember I told my mom before the flight that I want to pull down my.
Mother, I want to touch the birds.
No.
I don't know why you're now Transylvanian according to my accent that I'm making up right now. But yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know that you couldn't pull down your window. And so palm trees for the first time. Like never seen palm trees before. Because the nature is very different. Like both countries have a very pretty nature, but it's very different. Also, my first shock thing was that we live next to Rome. Like my parents live next to Rome on the seaside, and the sea is very salty. In Bulgaria, the Black Sea, that's almost like a lake. It's like you can swim with open eyes and it's fine. So these things were surprising to me. And so I ended up in Italy. I was super fired up. I started learning as much as I could. Because I'm a very talkative guy, so I wanted to talk to people. Started school, and then 2 months later, my granddad, the father of my mom, passed. Damn. So we had to go back, and I said, like, I'm not fucking going anywhere. Like, we waited 2 years to get here. Now I'm staying. And my dad had first started his job, because my mom and dad, I didn't know that, but they were considering going back, because when my dad was working and my mom was not working, they could just pay the bills and stuff, but they couldn't really save a lot of money by living all together in Italy. So they were considering going back. And then my dad got an offer to start being a truck driver, which was like, compared to today's, he would have like 5K salary a month.
Well paid. I think even nowadays, truck drivers, it's a sacrifice job, but it's not that badly paid.
Not anymore. But it was like a crazy thing. So he started that. And then again, like his salary was like 20 times what he would get in Bulgaria. And so he just had started. So it meant that he was driving a lot. I couldn't stay there. But we had a roommate. We had one guy that was living with my dad before. Because back in the days, everybody were sharing an apartment because they were immigrants. So I said, no, I'm not going fucking anywhere. I started school. I want to stay here because I don't know if we go back to Bulgaria when I'm going to come back to see my father.
Fucking illegals. Yeah.
No, we were legal. I was always
Oh, yes, they
documented.
were legal. Okay.
Oh, we were legal.
On paper.
We were like people when you go meet the Bulgarians at the Sunday coffee place, and then you say you have papers. They're like, bro.
I mean, bitches were throwing themselves to your dad, actually, because you were a kid.
There were people that would get deported.
Damn.
And also there were like people, you couldn't go back to your country until you didn't get your papers.
Gotta ask you about, so I know it's a stereotype, but Italians, there's a certain expressivity to them. Whereas Bulgarians, I think we associate them with more Russian style, Balkan style, kind of more cold-hearted people. Is it like that? Was it a contrast when you went to Italy and you found people going like this, what you doing? And then you are like Matrushki or something, I don't know.
No, I think that Bulgarians are not like Russians, first of all. Like, this is a misconception. So first...
Putting in your heart out.
No, we're not like Russians. Russians are completely like... The confusing part is that we are both... I don't know if Russians are to be considered Slavic people, but let's say so. We gave them the alphabet. Many people don't know that. The Russian alphabet is not fucking Russian. It's Bulgarian. And Macedonian says Macedonian, but they were They are Bulgarians. They were Bulgarians. No, we are very similar. So I would describe Bulgarians in this way. They want to be Germans, but they're like Italians.
Okay, so it's not such a big contrast then.
They want to be very organized and they admire a lot Germany. Like in Eastern Europe, they like think Germany is like the best country. But they're not like the Germans. They're more like, Bulgarians are more like warm and very like emotional, and I don't know. We're not like Italians, but we are very weird because we are in the southeast of Europe, directly on the border with Asia.
Almost Turkish.
Yeah, next. We were Turkey for a very long time. We were under the Ottoman Empire. And we have this very similar warm thing, respect a lot your parents, respect a lot your family, respect a lot your elder brothers and stuff like that, which is now fading a little bit, but it is like this. But for me, when I went to Italy, I told you, I was so curious about this place that I wanted to learn the most about it. And I really loved it. I remember every time there were football matches before I was going to Italy, I was cheering for Italy a lot. My first big soccer competition I remember was the Euros 2000 when Italy played the final against France and they lost. And I was like, fuck. So no, I was a kid. So with kids, it was fine. After a while, some kids would be mean to me at school. Because Italians feel very, very warm and welcoming, but this is only if you're a tourist. If you're an immigrant, they started fascism, so like they're still very.
Okay, so some of them were saying Benito did nothing wrong.
No, they don't say Benito did nothing wrong. He said he did many good things.
Okay, he did some good things. Now there was this whole thing about mass murder, but there was the trains were on time. Is that the deal or something like that?
We tell them like, what about the Jews? We didn't kill the Jews. We gave them to the Germans.
Okay. Guys, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's not the same thing. And so people at school sometimes would be mean because there were a lot of news like now of immigrants coming by boat. Back in the days, they were coming from Albania. Now they're coming from Africa. And they would tell me stuff like, you came by a boat. You're a fucking idiot, blah, blah, blah. Some people. But I was always like, that's not true, bro. I came by plane and you probably haven't seen a plane in your life. Because a lot of Italians actually, if they're not from the big cities or if they're not a little bit acculturated, they don't travel a lot. Because it's this very narrow peninsula. So it's very hard to get out of the country by like car or something. So they're very close mentality.
I mean, I guess... I'm not trying to defend them or anything, but when you have the sea always like around 100 kilometers away or something, you can always let's do a trip to the sea. Let's drive 100 kilometers, 60 miles, and we're at the sea. And then we're back. So maybe you live more in this bubble. Yeah. Also, food is amazing, let's face it. So it's not...
They do a lot of holidays in the south, but you travel 5-6 hours by car, and then you're still in Italy. So... they're not very open-minded. But with the years, when I got integrated and I don't have any accent, if I have an accent, it's like the one that you speak in Rome. Like, people don't know that I'm not... actually, they're very confused when I start talking to them because I talk Italian, like an Italian, but then I say my name. They're like, this is not an Italian name and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Dude, you mentioned Rome. That is quite cool. Now, I've always thought about this. You're in Rome.
That's why we have the fucking wolf there.
The Capitolina wolf. You're in Rome. You're going to meet with your buddies. Do you say, dude, let's meet in the Colosseum at 10:30? Or do you use that as a reference? Because that's quite awesome, I have to say.
Actually, the real Romans don't meet at the Colosseum ever. They maybe go to some places like Piazza Navona or the Pantheon.
As a meeting point, not to go there and hang out. Like, let's meet there and then go to whatever bar where this, I don't know, something.
No, real Romans don't go in that area because that's very touristy. So, like, all the tourists are there. Also, like, when you live in Rome and you pass so often by, like, the Colosseum or whatever, you get used to it. And you don't, like, it's not every time like, oh my God, the fucking Colosseum. But
bastards, they don't know what they have.
No, they know what they have, but it gets normal. It's like if you live in Madrid, it's not that you pass the Santiago Bernabeu and every time you're like, oh my fucking God, Real Madrid.
What? Of course I do. And I jizz myself every time I see Bernabeu. And a la Madrid, by the way, everybody.
A la Madrid. I am also Madridista.
Damn. See, that's why we're friends.
No, I did, like, the Colosseum is a very weird thing because I knew about the Colosseum before I knew it was the Colosseum. Because I told my dad, I remember this, I was a kid and I told my dad, Dad, I know there is this big old Roman building in Rome. Can we go see it? The one with the arches. And I think it's because before going to Italy, sometimes I would go to the work of my mom and there was internet there. So I could Google stuff. That was the first years of Google. Mm-hmm. And I remember I would Google Rome to see, because in our flat in Bulgaria, we had one picture of my mom and dad wedding. So for me, that was Italy. I would imagine what, like, they were in one of the Via del Corso, which is one of the most central street in Rome. And it was looking so pretty. So I imagined what is the rest of Italy. And I started Googling Rome and stuff. And I saw these pictures of the Colosseum. But I didn't know it was the Colosseum because I couldn't probably read the Latin alphabet and stuff.
No, of course.
But I knew there was this building, which is weird.
You guys with your backward R's, I mean, you have to make things difficult.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know. I don't know why we needed another alphabet, to be honest. Yeah, so...
But it is cool, come on, like the monuments there, like, yeah, bro, let's meet, or the Pantheon, or the Navona, like, let's meet there and then go, I don't know, hang out...
The Pantheon is pretty
Salute
cool.
Mussolini in the corner, and no, wait, he died in the north, right, of Italy.
He didn't die; they killed him.
Yes, fair enough.
They hang him by his feet.
Is it true? Was he alive when they hanged him, or had he been shot and they hanged the body, or
no.
did they got him live?
They hung him live and they let him die by his blood getting in his brain. This is what I know. And they left him hanging for a couple of days. But Italy did a very smart move there because Germany never surrendered. And Italy, at the last few months of the war, were like, oh, bro, we need to be liberated from these bastards.
I mean, we're friends, but not really friends, okay? It's just somebody you know, and you find him kind of awkward, and then please save us. We change teams.
Yeah, probably this is why they don't have the same sense of guilt. I don't know. I don't think Italians have I don't know. Germans are much scarier, and I think that it's all right that they be like, as they are very feeling guilty about that era, because Italians can say something. Like now there is the far right in Italy and they say something, but you know they're not going to do it. Like in Italy, you can be like, we're going to deport them. We're going to kill them all. Like, and they're like, yeah, they're just talking. But Germans, they say shit.
They mean it.
Because they do shit. So if you ask me, like, I'm more afraid of a far right Germany than a far right Italy, because Italy wouldn't have done anything without Germany. Like they wouldn't. They tried to. There was the colonialism, like back in the days. They tried to do couple of colonies. Yeah. Bro, it was such a struggle for two things that were super small.
Right? I think
Ethiopia and Libya a little bit.
Yeah.
And the moment they left Libya, they discovered oil, and they were like, "Fuck." Yeah. So
it's funny because angry Italian, sure, it's angry and it sounds strong, but angry German is scary. Even if the taxi driver is a bit angry at you for whatever reason, you give him the wrong chains. It is scary, angry German.
But they don't get angry. Also, like in Italy, they curse a lot and they curse each other. So like fuck off, and it's okay. Or you're saying like bitch, stuff like that in Italy, it's fine. If you say it in Germany, they take it so seriously. Like if you say to somebody fuck off, they're like,
yeah, they barely curse ever.
Yeah,
ever.
They say shit, scheiße. That's it. Yeah. So
Spanish we're more creative with that stuff, I think. We use a lot of persons. Joder, of course. But a lot of things with mothers. I don't know why we have mothers and shitting on things.
In Bulgaria too, mothers. Like we are all about the mothers.
Poor moms.
Yeah, like fuck your mother, I'll fuck your mother, in the ass of your mother, like all this stuff.
But in Spanish it could be good because de puta madre could be bad, like their mother's a whore, would be the meaning. But when you say somebody is like, oh, this guy is the puta madre, then it's kind of a good thing. Like, this is my bro,
Yeah, but in Italy, we have the same thing that you can say something bad about somebody, but you mean it in a nice way. And also we have this universal word cazzo, which is like can be positive, can be negative. It depends just on the intonation how you say it. You can say cazzo and then you just remember something, or you'll be like cazzo and you're impressed with something.
Thing with the Germans, we did a test. So we proved this empirically. This is scientific stuff. We took a German guy and a Spanish guy and we presented to them a scenario. And we asked, what would be your reaction? So the scenario is, you're out of work, it's 6, 7 in the afternoon, you're tired, you're arriving to your car and you notice somebody next to the car fiddling, doing something to the car. What do you say? And the German was like, I would say, Alter, was machst du mit mein Auto? It's like something like, yo, old guy, what are you doing with my car? Which is like kind of lame, to be honest. We asked the same question to the Spanish guy. Hijo de puta. Hijo de puta, me cago en tu puta calavera. Like, we don't need to translate this thing, but a lot of things about shitting in somebody's dead body and stuff like that.
Oh my God. Te cago en tu calavera. I get it now.
Yes.
Yeah, because Italian and Spanish are very similar. But talking about Rome, like one last thing, I was really cool when I started studying in high school because I studied in a school of arts. And we would study a lot of history of arts and history, and then later in university, history of architecture. And you have to study all these arts and ancient things. And we would study very little by the book, but we will go and be like, this is this and this is this. And then you learn way more. And I think this is something that Americans cannot comprehend, that we have this super huge connection with very big, like very stuff that are very much in the past. And that's why they did this. You said you lived in DC. That's why they did all this stuff in the mall,
neoclassic.
Yeah,
stuff.
to look old, because they didn't have anything old. They hired a lot of also Italian guys, like to do this neoclassic stuff, because they don't have anything that is really really old. I mean, in the South they have all the stuff that are left by the Maya and stuff that all the people that got
Mexico. You mean? Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a pretty young country, the U.S. 1777, I think it's the year. So, like, a lot of these states in Europe, they existed for thousands of years. So that's why the architecture there. And you're right. But for me, as a Spanish guy, it was similar. When we were studying architecture from Rome and stuff, it's all pictures and books and stuff. We cannot go out and there. So it is a cool thing that you just go out and see it and go like, fuck, here's the Piazza Navona or Pantheon or stuff like that.
But the US being a younger country is not really true, because the countries as we know them today, they're one of the oldest. Like because Italy wasn't united for a very long time. They got united after the States. France got the revolution after the States. The Germans were not Germany, so they got also after the countries as we know them today, America is actually
That's
pretty.
a fair point. Yeah.
I was listening to this historian, author Timothy Snyder, very good guy that knows a lot about Russia, Ukraine, stuff like that. And he was talking about this, that Europeans say they're these old countries, but they're not old countries. They're new countries in an old place. So it's very ironic.
Could be. Depends which one. Like Spain, since the 1400s, Via España. That's the thing. I think the UK also, it's quite old. It stayed the same way. Ireland and such. I know.
And then they did very smart move with the monarchy. They were like, okay, everybody is trying to kill their kings. Let's stay kings, but kind of you get the power. So how was it for you to come back from democracy
Here it comes.
in the in the Spanish monarchy?
So, let me tell you. I'll tell you. Spain has a king. We're the kingdom of Spain. We have a king and a princess, by the way, which will become the queen at some point. So, guys,
She's hot.
there's a chance you could rule Spain. I'm leaving that there. But yeah. we have
Imagine
a
she
king.
marries like a black guy. That would be so fucking awesome.
That
Or
would
a
be
fucking
fun.
South American.
That would be no. I want a guy called Jamal. That would be cool. That would be cool, actually. It's like because they are kind of lame in general.
He gets
So
blacked.
to big, she'll get blacked,
And then the future king will be fucking Obama style.
and he'll be But I'm more interested in Jamal in this case, in the husband of the queen, because he will pimp it up in the palace, which will be really, really an awesome thing.
This for American
But yeah,
standards is like, oh my god, they're so racist. Let's get them canceled.
Yeah, but it's not mean spirited, okay? Everybody.
No,
it
it's
isn't.
like we would love that
We're
because
having fun here. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a king, we have a princess. She's single. I don't know, actually, but maybe. And that's the thing. Latin American people get pissed off often because when they come to Spain, if they want to get the visa to stay, they need to sign a paper that swears loyalty to the king.
oh yeah.
And it bugs them, and I kind of get it. But hey, it's what you need to do.
I had to swear too when I got my Italian passport. I had to swear to defend the republic and the president and the constitution.
Ah, okay.
That was cool. And
It's
then
similar in the end. I mean,
after-
the king of Spain, like, it's more a representative role, like an ambassador or something like that. Like, you're meeting with the king of Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you send some dude who will change every 4 years, or do you send some dude who has like a heritage? No, so that's the whole point. There's 20 arguments against the monarchy, and there's 5 good in favor of it. So it is kind of one-sided, but that there's the good elements to it, that you can use this figure to contact other royal monarchs and stuff, and it's.
But also,
it's
nobody
somewhat-
can dream about becoming the king, or like in the States, everybody can dream about becoming the president.
True. That's the fucked up part. Like, it's by right of birth, which is
Do
one
you-
of the biggest fucked up issues. Unless, again, if you marry the princess, guys.
We have a similar thing in Italy. We have the Pope. We have the
The
Pope.
king of Catholics.
Yeah, the king of Catholics. And it's a big deal when he passed because we're like, yeah, bro, we kind of want to see the new one. And every time it's like, it's going to be a black guy. It's going to be an Asian guy. When we're going to try something new. And last time they did the Argentinian guy.
Yeah, they went Latin America. The next might be a black dude.
But I think because the Latin American is the most Catholic guys in the world right now, to be honest.
Thanks to us.
Although they're savages, like all the cartels being like super Catholic and then fucking up people in the most brutal way.
Yeah, we were doing the same.
But how do you feel about the king? Do you ever think about any king? Like your king, the other kings?
I'm a bit divided by the whole king issue because it is ridiculous. It is quite ridiculous. Somehow in Spain it seems to work, but if I had to say yes or no, I'm leaning no. It is kind of silly, the whole thing. There's practical elements. In some monarchies in Europe, it sort of works as a representative. Well, the UK. I think the most important monarchy in all of Europe is the UK. They're the richest. They're the ones who are more influential. I think they're also the head of the church. So they're sort of the Pope
true.
kind of thing. And but by the way, so King Charles, he's the king now of the UK.
After, I don't know.
1 trillion years, yes. So the lady, she stayed there until the last minute. I think it was sort of a fuck you to her son, like, fuck you, I'm staying here till the end.
You know when Putin did all this history lecture about, like, the Queen actually took part.
She knew them. Oh, yes. He said, well, Prince Olaf. Yes, Prince Olaf. I knew him.
We were used to drink together at the bar.
So, you gotta feel bad for Charles. Like, he waited for decades and decades. He's now a pretty old guy. And I hear he has cancer, actually, which is kind of sad and hilarious.
Don't laugh about this because we're gonna get cancer.
Exactly, karma is a bitch, but still, it's kind of funny. No, but okay, his British monarchy, he has infinite money, infinite resources. So if some dude will get cured from cancer, it's him.
Yeah, true. But also, I think the British people being like, bro, we just paid for one fucking super expensive celebration.
The crowning and the burial, or both.
The burial, the crowning, and then they're like, fuck, now we
it's
got
a tough sell because
since Brexit happened, they have like super bad karma. Like, it's awful.
Exactly. It's all because of Brexit. But, the royalty thing in the UK, it has to bring a lot of tourism. So it's unclear, right? How much money do they lose? How much money do they win with it?
But I was thinking that actually, like, we talk shit about monarchy. But if you think about it, in Europe, there are a lot of monarchies. We have Spain. Portugal is not anymore a monarchy, right?
No.
They dropped it. UK, which is Europe, but not anymore European Union, so we don't count it. The Netherlands, it's a monarchy. Denmark, it's a monarchy.
All the Scandinavians.
Norway, Sweden, they're monarchies. Crazy shit.
They're doing
Russia, it's a monarchy. Let's be honest.
sort of. More dictatorship, but yeah. But, I mean, there's an
They
argument.
just changed name, rebranding, like, okay.
The argument against it is that some of the top dogs in Europe, France and Germany, they're not. And it works. So that's a strong argument against it.
But, I mean, in the end of the day, the king doesn't do anything. He's just, like, saying there, hi. The weirdest thing about Spain, you have to tell me, why the heck you don't have no words when you sing the anthem? Like, you don't sing it. You're like...
It's just music.
Yeah. Nice music.
I'll tell you why, because we don't need it. That's why.
Also, Argentinians, I think, don't have words.
I think they do. I think in Spain it's tricky, because the thing about Spain is that in the end, Spain is
but I heard that they forbid the words. There are words, but they don't sing them anymore.
There are no words. I mean, in the time of the dictatorship with Franco, there were words.
Yeah,
but that was another anthem, a completely different national anthem. The song, the music, and everything, it was completely different. And the current one, the thing is, because Spain is it's a bunch of kingdoms united into one country. Maybe that's why they don't want to put words into the anthem, because they don't want to piss off the Galicians, the Basques, the Catalans, the Andalusians, the Valencians. All of these were kingdoms in the past which united at some point. When you're driving through Spain, you will see you're entering the kingdom of Asturias. By the way, that's my people, Asturias. And that's the thing. Like, it's one country, but it's more the unification of several kingdoms put together. I think that's why I don't know. We're happy with our music thing. There's a lot of funny rhymes, though. Like, they make sense in Spanish. They don't make sense in English.
And also, like, we talk about the Roman Empire, but the exploration of the Americas is something very connecting between Italy and Spain. Because our Italian guy from Genova, like Columbus, went to the king and was like, bro, I have a business plan.
This is an endless discussion. Italians say Italy discovered America because the dude was Italian.
No, we say
Spanish
Italian. We say an Italian guy discovered America. We don't say Italy discovered it. But because there was no Italy. That was like one kingdom, the kingdom of Genova. Colombo. And he went there, La Niña, La Pinta, La Santa Maria.
Very good.
Well, bro, we learned that stuff. Like, I was watching, I think, the Andrew Schultz podcast. What is it called? Flagrant 2?
Yeah.
And the other guy, the Indian guy, what is he called? No.
Sakar.
I don't know. We're very bad.
If they ever hear this, they will fucking murder us.
It doesn't matter. But he was saying that only white people like history because it's like...
because we dominate. But that's kind of ignorant, though. I mean, I don't know. Like, we just don't know. Like, Indian history, I know very, very little.
Yeah, but I think they have a different connection to history. Like, I talk a lot with... I have an Indian colleague, and I talk a lot about like the British Empire and the stuff. And
are they still salty about it?
I don't know. If I was thinking about it, they are the only country that freed themselves by non-violence. Like,
impressive. It is impressive. Come on.
Yeah, they feel not violent.
But you mentioned Columbus. I mean, what are you going to do? It's what happened.
Do you miss it a lot? Like, do you have regret? Like, as a European, I think, imagine if we didn't drop the United States. Like, if England was smart and they didn't say, like, motherfuckers, you're going to pay taxes and shut the fuck up. Instead, they said, well, we're going to give you some representatives in our parliament.
I see. So it's all about letting them think that they're in charge, but not really. That would be a plan.
No, in the end, to control a place, what do you need? You need the politicians. So it would have been very hard, although, because there were no flights between the states.
Everything took months, and we don't know anything about anything. We don't know people. We don't know anything. But the Spanish territory was gigantic, almost all of South America and Central America.
If you forget about what you want. I heard this story recently that was the first time I've heard it about the one of the conquistadores with sea.
Cortés?
Cortés. I think it was Cortés.
From the Aztec.
That he burned the boats. Was it he the guy that burned the boats?
Yes, that's Cortés.
That's this guy is savage.
He's a crazy fucker. Well, was a crazy fucker. And I mean, the dude, first of all, they told him, don't attack the Aztecs. We probably will at some point, but for now, we don't want war. Don't attack. And he attacked the Aztecs. And he knew he was going to piss everybody off, so he got to the place, burned the ships, like from here it's on to victory. Because if we win, then they cannot tell us, dude, I told you not to attack. No, if he wins, he wins. And he was a brutal guy who fought a brutal war. But they defeated the Aztecs in the end.
I heard he did it so that his men cannot tell him to go back to, like, they cannot surrender.
Exactly. It's only forward from here. They also did a lot of, like, it sounds like Cortés and a couple hundred guys, they took over the Aztec Empire. Not really what they did. The Aztecs were really crushing the people around them, the other tribes and the other peoples. So they got together with those people and said, hey, are you sick of the Aztecs? All together we can kick their asses. And that's sort of how they did it. It's not just the Spanish. Also, it's true, they had this thing called big fat cannons. The Aztecs didn't have that. They didn't have that. And that's a big thing, So that worked, and it was back and forth. They got their ass kicked a couple times by the Aztecs, but in the end, Cortés did it. He was brutal. He killed millions of people. Probably millions, not, but thousands of people for sure. The Spanish had another little weapon on their favor, which was viruses.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's smallpox or something like that. Everyone in Europe was immune from the Black Death, the plague, and all the smallpox and all this stuff. And the poor natives, they were not.
And
so more than half people just didn't die from war or fighting or cannons or whatever. It's just, here, you got the flu. Now you're dead. It's, brutal times.
I know also that story about the sexual diseases with the guys that were racing back.
Okay, some guys were having fun. Oh, Jesus. So much judgment here. Guys can't have fun anymore. So the thing is... No, that you're talking about Pinzon, I think. Yeah. But that's before Cortés. Like Columbus, he was going to America with the Pinzon brothers in the Pintanilla, Santa Maria. Santa Maria was Columbus, and the others were the Pinzons. They reach America, the Caribbean. They find the Caribbean, and I guess there was a lot of sexual activity going on around there. I'm guessing not very consensual. That's true. But at some point, the Pinzon gets syphilis. The syphilis was... somehow the natives were immune to it, but not the Spanish who arrived there. And the travel back to Spain was kind of a race, because whoever got first to the king would say, dude, we hit the gold mine here. So there was a race between Columbus and Pinzon. Pinzon arrived actually a little bit earlier, but he fucking died of syphilis on the way to Madrid from Galicia, and he didn't make it, then fucking dead. And so Columbus got first. He said, bro, we did it. And then he got all the glory. And
how was it for you coming back from the States, back to Spain? Did you get any idea? You were too young, I mean.
No.
How long did you stay in the States?
4 years.
So from 11 to 15?
Exactly.
And when you came back to Spain, were you the superstar of your class?
Probably not.
Everybody no. Were you dumber?
I was dumber. That is true. Yes. I mean, school in the US compared to Europe, sorry guys, it is easier.
But it's
It was
different.
easier.
It's easier, but it's different.
True.
Like, I think that it's more experimental. Like, you can pick up stuff to do, try shit. And here in Europe, it's more like you got to do everything what the others are doing.
But stuff like maths and such, like when I got there, when we arrived to the US, I was 11. They were starting to think and talk a bit about fractions. Whereas in Spain, we have been doing that for at least 2 years already.
So you're like genius there.
So when I was there, I was getting pretty decent grades, actually. And when I come, I was the dumbest in class at the beginning. No, not the dumbest. I think I got up to speed quickly. But yeah, it was hard at the beginning. And yeah, people, I mean, I was kind of always the class clown. When I came out to give presentation of something, I think I was always the funniest. But so that was the thing. And I think people enjoyed that. But
how long it took you to learn English?
I would say 6 months to be proficient at it. After 3 or 4 months managing, after 6 months or so there. But like you, when you went to Italy, when you were a kid, that you got it pretty quickly, I think that's the deal. When I went to the US, I learned it pretty quickly in the end, you know.
And it's good that you went.
The first months, I was the dumbest kid there. Like, I don't know, no entiendo, I don't understand, what, qué pasa? And it was tricky at the beginning. I think my first school report with the grades and stuff, you would normally get A, B, C, whatever, no? For me, several subjects, it said NG, which means no grade. Like, we cannot grade you. You're hopeless.
Not even an F.
We don't know what to do with you. You're just hopeless. So that was tricky from Spain to the US. I'll never forget this, man. It's kind of silly in the end, but in school, first day, 6th grade in middle school. The whole school is there. Hundreds of kids. And some guy starts with a list. Timmy, class 5. John, class 4. La, 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 la. And so on and so forth. Everybody left the cafeteria until only one idiot kid was left there, me. Because obviously they said my name, but I didn't understand it. So it was in the end, I was the only thing in the cafeteria with crickets in the background. Crick, 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 crick. What? They brought in a Latin American girl to help me a little bit with where we're supposed to go, where we're supposed to do this. And that sort of worked out. I have to say, in the US, one cool thing is that they had this thing called ESOL, which means English for Students of Other Languages. So they sort of in school have embedded a program to integrate people. I think that's kind of cool. They don't have that in Spain. Or
for the people like my family that are undocumented.
Exactly. You cannot talk. You're very unable. Very unable.
And but it's good that you went. So you don't have the classic Spanish accent when you speak English, or you speak English in general, because Spanish people don't speak any fucking other language, because there are so many people speaking Spanish around the world that, like, I remember there was the Champions League final in Rome, Manchester United versus Barcelona, and like, we were in the fan zone and stuff with the Spanish guy. You couldn't talk like English because they're like, no entiendo, no hablo.
Yeah,
Ingles.
they tend to be quite bad. And it's weird because
Soy
in
catalán.
school... and it's weird because in Spain, you do study English in school, but somehow a lot of people are not really good at it. They don't practice it so much. They have the very thick accent, like you say, yes, I am going onto the street and I will buy a kebab. That's how the Spanish people speak, I know. And, I can pull the Spanish accent, but because of my age in the US, I think that's why I have more.
I don't know if I can pull the Italian accent. It's very, very difficult, very hard to speak like an Italian.
The H, that's the deal. Italian accent, it's the H. The H is silent.
But also the intonation. The intonation has to be a little bit like Italian.
There's the classic, I am angry.
I'm very angry.
Are you hungry or are you angry? We don't know.
I'm angry. Have you ever seen the video Italian Goes to Malta?
No.
Yeah, I'll play it for you. It's
What do they speak in Malta?
They speak English. But like the whole video, it's like made on like paint cartoon. Like very stupid cartoon with this sticky things.
Is there Maltese language?
It's English. And
just English?
I think they speak probably Italian a little bit. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah.
But anyways, there is this guy that's Italian, goes to Malta and say, "I want to shit on my bed," and then it's like, "You don't want to shit on your bed." Yeah, I have a pillow, I have a blanket, but I have no shit. I won't shit on my bed. You better no shit on
it.
It was like everybody. Like I went to the restaurant. There was a plate and a knife, but there was no fork. So I say to the waitress, "I want a fork," and she said, "Everybody want a fork." It's very funny. It's very funny.
Classic Italian one. Spanish, I don't know. We don't have that. It's just very, very thick accent.
And okay, you went there when you're back 15. You get back to track, school, everything fine. Then university stuff.
I was fat too, by the way. Well, I am fat now.
Well, you were like, yeah.
But in the US, I did get chubbier, guys. There's no way to get around it because the food in school was pizza on Monday, hamburgers on Tuesday, nuggets on Wednesday, like this all the time, every day of the week.
And food in the States is different.
I was quite chubby when I came back.
Food in the States is also different. When I was there, I'm like, as you can see, I'm also big food guy. But it was like, everything was with a lot of sugar.
Yeah, where is it too?
Everything was super expensive, to be honest, compared to Europe. I don't know like how it was back in the days. And it was different taste. I tried the Logan Paul drink. Do you know Prime?
No idea.
Okay, yeah, you're a little bit of a boomer.
Yes.
Now there is this guy Logan Paul making this extra drink. So when I was in the States, because here there was no any Prime yet. I think in the UK it was starting. So we went extra to visit a Walmart and a Target because I was never in this Superstore. And one of my favorite shows, it's Superstore, this super funny sitcom. And I bought the Prime there and I drank it and I was like, this tastes awful. This tastes like the liquid you put in your car for...
Is it like an energy drink? Or
It's like an hydration drink. But also I tried do you know Jocko Willing?
The dude, yeah.
Yeah,
he has a drink too?
Yeah, it's called Jocko Go.
Why? Anyway, doesn't matter.
Because he's a Navy SEAL. You want to be like a Navy SEAL, bro.
Yes, and if you drink Jocko Go, you will become a Navy SEAL and you can kill Bin Laden. Yes.
You'll get discipline.
I see.
Anyways, I got some discipline. Shit. Now they sell it in Germany. I tried it. Tasty. It's different. It's like completely different.
So the ingredients are different in Germany than
the
in the US.
taste is different.
Damn.
It's like it's made for the European market. If you drink something American in Europe, it's blah.
That has to be a regulation thing because there's more regulations in Europe.
Yeah, we're so glad.
But yeah, when I came back from the US to Europe, I was kind of chubby.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to work a little bit to get rid of that. But as we can all see, I got it all back. So win-win in the end.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. And how come you ended up studying architecture?
Well, you see, Daddy didn't love me. It was kind of a last-minute decision. I studied physics, actually. I had an interest in physics, and I did a couple of years of physics. And at some point, I had somewhat of a crisis, and I said, I need to change. I don't want to study electrical components for the rest of my life, which was might have been a mistake, by the way. And I jumped into architecture. It's my passion. I really enjoy the work. I like it. I mean, I wish we were in circumstances where you can have more authority over your work, but you know, what are you gonna do? That's the life. And it's a great job. It's a great calling. It doesn't pay great, but there's a great vocation to it and a pride to it. Like you work on a project, you work on a building, the design, the development, the construction phase. And later, a few years later, you're walking on the street and you see that building that you did on the street. There's a pride to that. I would say that's the payment of architecture, let's say. Because economically, it's not the greatest thing.
I was listening to this one lady. They do this social media channel called Architects Not Architecture. And she was saying that architecture is becoming an elitarian job because you have to be like rich to practice it and have good connection to get your clients and stuff. And I was thinking, what I was thinking, I'm a fucking stupid Eastern European. I'm just doing it for the money. And the money are not great. No, I mean, you're right, but you don't get like fuck you money. That's why we're doing a podcast. We're trying to...
Exactly. Between this and Bitcoin, I hope something works.
Yeah, like we're targeting our beloved Americans with this podcast. And why did you end up in Germany? How this thing happened?
It was kind of a work issue, really. Like Spain, there was the financial crisis of 2009, which collapsed the economy of half of the planet. But in
2008, you mean?
2008, sorry. Yeah, I said 9? Yeah.
Yeah, the big crisis, the Big Short.
I don't know why I put it in 9, but yeah, I guess it's 8.
Did you watch the movie The Big Short?
I know it, but I haven't seen it.
Great movie.
Write it down. Yeah. Anyway, this thing collapsed the economies of the world, but in Spain it was particularly harsh because our economy was very based on construction. So there was really, when that happened, job loss was astounding. There was really no opportunity. I was close to finishing my studies. So I finished my studies, and then I'm like, okay, what now? And a job opportunity came up here in Germany. To be honest, I came here thinking, I'll do this Germany thing 1-2 years, something like that. It's been 8 years so far. So that's sort of how it started. I managed to start in a small office, but with a pretty good portfolio of projects. The projects were really cool. A little bit of historical background. Frankfurt was completely fucked during the war, destroyed by bombs and such and such. So a few years ago, they might have had it coming. Anyway, a few years ago, they decided, let's bring back the old Frankfurt that we lost after the war. So they decided to rebuild the old Frankfurt. And I was part of that project. I was part of it to bring back the old Frankfurt. We worked on it. We worked on it for years and to come. And it's built. It's finished. It's a cool thing.
You can say it's made by Spanish people.
It's made by Spanish, not really. But there was a Spanish dude involved. God help us.
I know because you talk always about that shitty pergola. Like if you go in city center of Frankfurt and you see this pergola, it's made by fucking Louis, and he'll talk about it all day long.
I can talk hours and hours on end about my pergola, and people want to pee on it. That's the deal here. But yeah, Germany, it started as a work thing. You get comfortable to things about Germany. Some of them are annoying. Some of them are awesome. Some of them are in the middle. And, it's a change of pace for sure. You gave up Italy for Germany. So I have to ask, why?
Because I didn't even try working in Italy. So I was studying university, and I was like,
why even try?
There were like people older than me. They were doing like being tutors for professors and stuff. And I was, because I was from a family. So when I started university, all the Italians, they have no pressure whatsoever, and they take ages to finish it. Mm-hmm. My dad was like, bro, from now on you have a 5 years countdown. And if you don't manage in 5 years, you have to start working and get out of this home. Because I have Bulgaria. That's like Bulgarian versus
survival
Italian.
Mentality.
Yeah, survival mentality. Although not every Bulgarians are like this. Most of Bulgarians are like Italians. They pamper their kids too much. But my parents are savages. They're like, fuck off. You have... Now they're with my brother, the same team. I have a younger brother. He's 10 years younger than me. And they're telling him, bro, you gotta get your shit together very soon. So yeah, and I was talking to these older people, and they were saying like, yeah, we work for 500, 700 euro a month, blah blah blah. I was like, what? Like my dad, as a truck driver, makes 3 times you. What are you talking about? So I was like, okay, this is not gonna work out. And then I was hearing stuff that Germany is very focused on this environmentally friendly architecture, and
okay.
Yeah, like we don't do fracking here, and because I thought it was interesting, and my dad sometimes told me like, hey, in Germany I've heard they looking for architects, blah blah blah. So in Europe we have this program, I guess you know, the Erasmus program, where we can. We have free education or nearly free education. Like you don't have to take a loan or you don't have debt after you finish university, and you can get even a scholarship from the European Union to go for a year or max 2 years to study in another country. So I was like, okay, let's go to Germany. And my first pick was Munich because they had a program in English, but I didn't get a spot there because there were too many people wanting to go to Munich. And then I was thinking maybe I should go to Spain because I can learn a lot because Spanish architects are the best architects in the Mediterranean region.
I have to agree. I don't know why, but yes, I totally true. Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, but in Spain, basically I'll be jobless like here, so it makes no sense for me.
Yes, you would.
So I'll be like, okay, let's try Germany. And I started texting to a lot of university, writing letters. And Frankfurt was the only one that said like, okay, bro, if you come here and you don't know any German, you'll figure it out. Like, we accept you. Nobody wants to come here anyways. So so you're welcome. And this is how I ended up here. And I thought like I will stay for a year or two and do my Erasmus and go back to Italy. Just have a connection network here. And no, never left, stayed here. Got my job here. And it was pretty easy because when you're younger, also you get to know younger people, and also the Germans that I got to know help me integrate and stuff.
What was the first thing that you found out? Okay, I'm here, I'm in Germany, and something is different from Italy. You cannot say the weather.
No.
Which one was the first thing? The weather is an obvious one, that's why.
The first thing is that when you go to the coffee place and say, I want a coffee, they bring you a soup instead of an espresso.
Okay, that's a good one.
And for me personally, I loved Frankfurt because it was different from Rome. Because Rome, it's this very old city and there is nothing new. Italians, in Italy, we don't have new architecture because we have tourists and they want it to look old. All over the place.
No incentive. Okay.
So they don't want to, and even if they build new things, they try to build them in a way that they look kind of old or classic. And here it looks like New York. Like it's like a mini version of New York.
Yeah, high rises and
they call
although
it.
you know the skyscrapers in Frankfurt wouldn't even scrape the ass of a tower in New York. They're quite.
I don't
small
care
compared to New York. I mean,
but the quality of life in Frankfurt is 10 times better than the quality of life in New York because I never stuck in a traffic jam and
I don't know enough actually. I don't know enough about that. I'm guessing you're right because it's an easier going city here. But,
it's small.
Yeah.
Like in New York, you can travel 45 minutes. When I was there, 45 minutes to get to another part of the city. And you're not even like, I was like just sightseeing. So like 45 minutes in like an underground train. Here with 45 minutes,
you're outside the city. You're outside of Germany. Fuck me, you're in Holland. No, not that much. I'm kidding.
But with 1 hour, you can get
hyperbolic
in a completely different place.
Yeah, totally.
So, and how about you? What were the things that when you arrived to Germany, you thought like this is really different or really weird?
Let me start with the bad one. The whole legendary about punctuality, the trains are on time, everything's on time, everything's work. Bullshit. The trains are always late, they're always cancelled, they're a pain in the ass. That's the whole thing. They work and they will get you to where you want to go. But they are not that punctual, like exactly at 4 o'clock you're here on time. Not at all, really. That was one contrast. The size, you're right. Like originally I'm from Asturias, from the north of Spain, but I've lived in Madrid most of my life. And Madrid, you need 50 minutes by metro to go anywhere. Here, 30 minutes by bike. You're in any part of the city you want. So there's a comfort to it. That was cool, actually.
30 is a lot. Like 30 is like you really go to the other side of the city.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, you're meeting your buddy here, you then are going somewhere else, and that's the 30 minutes. It's a safe number to get anywhere in the city. Whereas, Madrid, it takes way longer. Still, you'll be late because the train will not come on fucking time. But that's a thing. Also, funny thing, Germans, I don't want to be too complaining here, but service is shitty. Like, there's no motivation for...
No emotions.
Waiters or services in anywhere to be friendly or to do things. It's like, what do you want? That's kind of the deal. You get what you get and you don't get upset, pretty much. That's the deal. And it's like, you appreciate when you go to other places of the world where the waiter or whoever, it's nice to you, actually. Where here, it's like, straight to the point. What do you want? This, that. Here you go. Now pay me and fuck off. That's kind of the German way to do things.
That is true. When I came here in Italy, we have the culture of going to have coffee in the morning in the bar. We call it bar, but it's not a bar. And the guy, the barista that's making the coffee, it's your like therapist. Like how are you doing today? I did the usual, the espresso with cornetto and the coffee. How you doing? Oh, by the way, how are your exams going? How's
your wife?
I went to the same coffee place for 10 days in a row. Good morning. What would you like, sir? Good morning. Well, and I would order always the same shit. And the guy's like, good morning. What would you order? Like, bro, you savage.
You know me. You know me now. By now, we're buddies. We're coffee buddies now. But no, here it's straight to the point. Here's your coffee. Here's your croissant. Here's the money. Leave now. So the service here, it's quite a thing. Also, I've never been more stressed than in the checkout at the shop here. Like, you go buy groceries, whatever. That line, things move fast. And if you're not fast, you will be destroyed by the people there. There's a stress to it. Like, you need to get your shit there, inside, pay quickly, and leave. It's not a no-nonsense place.
I didn't discover this for the first year because I was living alone and I didn't have a very nice fridge I was living in this student dorm. So I would buy a few things. So, you quick anyways. But then I moved to a flat, and the first time I would do groceries like for a week, where you go with card to
fill a card.
Yeah, stuff. And the guy at the when I was paying, he got pissed off at me. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, put your things like this and put the shit inside there and pack them somewhere else." And then I figured out that they're super efficient about everything. But I've read this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
No,
and this guy was in many countries. And he said the best part of every country is also the worst part of every country. So Italy, it's very nice. Everybody's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And they're always like, even when you need to get shit done. And Germans are like very good when you need to do work because like they are very reliable about work stuff. But they're also like, let's go grab a beer. There is a stunning weather today. I'm like, today I have to like do stuff. You have to tell me 2 weeks in advance.
I heard arguments like, I cannot go today because I need to go shopping. Like shopping, like meaning milk, bread, like the daily shopping. In German, it's called Einkaufen, which is grocery shopping. And it's like, is that an argument? Which maybe the guy just didn't want to go out. Could be. But it's kind of a weak argument. I always thought to that.
They're very cold-blooded. Also, like, for example, sometimes it happened to me like I would go somewhere where I'm just for a few days, maybe for work and stuff, and I have to work with people that I don't usually meet. And I say like, okay, guys, let's go grab something after work to eat together. And they'll be like, ich habe schon gekocht. I have already cooked. Ich habe schon gekocht.
Sorry, I have my food done, and if it's done, I cannot do anything else. That's the deal.
In Italy, we say that this is the difference because Italy and Germany obviously have some kind of past relationship. So we say that Berlusconi was used to say this also very often, but it's true for every Italian, that we can curve ourselves in the way we need. Like we can become like, I don't know, in Italian it's said concavo and convesso. It's like the curvature of a lens. You can be curved towards the outside or toward the inside, and we're flexible. Meanwhile, Germans are very rigid. That's why they go in this far right savage thing, and they fight the world, and they're like, it's scary.
When they go that way, they do it well, I have to admit. It's not something to be proud of, but they do it well. Now they're on the other side, like they want to be the environmental friendly dudes of Europe, so they're the most environmentally focused in all of Europe, I would
but
say.
They're not really. I was doing a video about because I have other YouTube channels, and I was doing.
You're cheating on me, bastard.
No, I'm all alone. I just jerk off by myself.
As you should.
Well, bro, I asked you out like 7 months, being like, Louis, we have to start a podcast. Yeah, I don't know.
I have doubts. I hate myself. Dad doesn't love me. I don't know. But yeah, the efficiency of the Germans, like they are, when they were focused on killing everybody, apparently they did it very well. Sadly for everybody, that's the thing. And they had to be bombed into submission.
And they have these very heavy industries now out of the metal stuff that they do and stuff. So they consume a lot of energy, and so that there is not enough energy coming from Russia. What a country. What a big country.
The Russia
we need
mess.
a wall.
The Russia mess. It's like... So who blew up the Nord Stream pipeline?
The Americans did.
It was this flow of gas into Europe, which suddenly it blew up. And it is true... It doesn't really make sense that the Russians would do it.
No, the Americans did. But, I mean, it makes sense. I was in D.C. right when it was blown up. I was in the fucking front of the Pentagon. Like, I was like, bro, why?
Not cool, dude. Not cool.
No, it was cool. I mean, they told the Germans many times, like, bro, we are paying to really protect you from Russia, and you're really paying Russia to fuck you up. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. And Germans was like, oh, good. Like, yeah, we don't.
You gotta build shit and produce energy somehow. But because my understanding is that in Germany, trying to chase the environmentally friendly dragon, they decided to get rid of all nuclear power.
Yeah.
And this has consequences. That's the thing, because if you let go of certain facilities to produce power, you need to bring something else to produce power. And in order to make up for the loss, they had to restart the coal ones, which is, I would say, if your focus is CO2 emissions, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I think so too.
No,
but they're developing this system, which I didn't know about, but it's fucking smart. And if they manage in a few years, they will be again on top of the game. They're putting all their chips on hydrogen. So their plan is to figure out how to storage big amounts of hydrogen and how to produce hydrogen with the least amount of energy, which are they getting very much better. And what their plan is to use renewables to make hydrogen. So when there is no sun, you use the hydrogen. So this is the whole fucking German plans. And they also develop a lot of technologies to get rid of the nuclear power plants. So they in their minds, once they succeed with this technology, which is hydrogen, they will sell the technology to the countries that have nuclear power plants, and they will also help them reprocess all the waste.
That's a strategy to store energy. Like renewables can produce an excess of energy, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So with that excess, they produce hydrogen, which can be stored, and then you can use this hydrogen as a source of energy. So it's, let's call it a battery, not really a battery, but in a way it's storing energy somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the whole plan they're having now. But if it's gonna work, I don't know. They're betting on it. I mean, bro, I'm working in some stuff that are related to nuclear. I don't know how much I can share about it, but I wouldn't want to work with nuclear waste. Like, not any. And
dude, every movie, have you seen how it goes? You get superpower.
Or die, like in Chernobyl.
More like die, yes.
Well,
the superpower of forever sleep, more like death, yeah.
How is it work in Germany now that you happy? I mean, you changed Spain for Germany. That's also a fucking cool country, like to live and to be a tourist.
Yeah,
and to be rich.
And, for sure. I sold myself for money. That's the thing. I don't even that much money, so I sold quite cheap. That's the deal. I mean, in the end, we can shit on Germany. We can complain a little bit about this and that, but we are here and we are staying here, so there has to be good shit about it.
Yeah, there are many
for sure. About it. The
dignity, salary,
the job stability. We have big tits now. The job stability mainly. That's a big one. Like I know I could lose my job today, and I'll probably have a job in a couple of weeks again. Whereas in Spain, if you lose your job, you're like, holy shit, I lost my job. What am I going to do? It's quite an issue there. There's a certain organization element that here it's amazing. Here, it has happened that you lose your wallet. You go back the next day to the bar or the thing in place, and you get back your wallet. This is unthinkable in Spain. It will not happen. Maybe 1 in a million happens.
I gave back a wallet in Italy, and the people didn't even say like thank you. Like didn't even say like here 10 euros, go get a. I was like, bro, next time I'm gonna steal it like everyone else.
Did you keep the money?
No, I didn't keep anything. I gave them back everything. We found a phone and a wallet, and with the phone we called the mother of the dude, which was an old guy, and that lady came, picked up everything. She was like. Nothing extraordinary is happening.
That's nasty, actually. That is nasty.
Like, bro, next time we're gonna steal. And they were like, we were teenagers, and there were like 150 euros inside there, which is like a lot of money for teenagers. I was like, bro, that bitch.
Yeah. Damn. Here, it's the opposite. Here, people are, in that sense, are nicer. You'll get your shit back once. I forgot. And you might ask, how could you forget it? Yes, because I was retarded. I forgot. When you go to the metro, I put my credit card to buy the ticket for the metro, and I forgot the credit card on the machine, because why not? And some dude searched for me in LinkedIn, this thing for job market. He found me. He called my office. He said, hey, I have this guy's credit card. He forgot it in the metro station. I was like, wow, amazing. I couldn't thank him enough, really. It's
Yeah, that's the pretty cool stuff.
That's a German thing. Yeah. That's not in Spain. Nah, that's not happening, really.
No, but I generally like Germany. You live a very comfortable life. Also, like even if you lose your job, you have 1 year of like unemployment, which is pretty okay. Like 80% of your salary for a year. You can.
There's a security. Yeah, that's good. There's also fun expressions. You know, the Germans, they always confuse the expression to become something, because in German, become is to receive, to get something. So you will hear a lot of Germans say, "Oh, I became a letter." It's like, did you become a letter? Can you become a letter? Not really, right? And it means I received, I got a letter. So there's some of these fun expressions. Well, more in the German accent, I became a letter.
I think that this is going to change now that Trump is coming back.
Do you think he's coming back?
I don't know. The State of the Union, did you hear the speech, the State of the Union by Biden?
I saw bits of it. I think he was more awake. I don't know what meds they put him on, but he was a bit more awake for his standard.
For 1.5 hours, that motherfucker rant about everything. And they're saying that this is not a good strategy by the Republicans to depict him so crazy and sleepy and stuff, because then he doesn't need to perform too much well to be impressive, you know?
The bar is so low.
Yeah, the bar is so low that this guy talked for 1 hour, stumbled just on a couple of words. But I mean, I don't know. I stumble on words too when I speak very fast. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know.
He drags the word. Sometimes he sounds like he's drunk, like that. I don't know. What was it? Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe or something?
Crooked Hillary.
Crooked Hillary.
Wrong.
Damn it.
Wrong.
It's like, for sure it's going to be a show. And it's going to be fun to watch. On one part of me, it's like 330 million people. These two? Really?
Everybody's saying that in America too. Two
like,
80-year-old people.
One is, I don't want to be too cruel, but not all there. And the other is kind of a lunatic. So it's like, Jesus. I mean, the lunatic is more fun, but also it's like you can get too much of that too. It's not.
But I don't know. Do you how much can a president decide? I mean,
I think it's limited, the amount of power they have. That's my mom calling, by the way. I say, Mama, ¿qué pasa?
We can do it in a Spanish podcast.
In a live one. I mean, the power is limited, that's for sure. They cannot, I don't think Trump or Biden can say, yeah, by the power of my balls, I declare war on Morocco.
No, it's not about the war stuff, but all the pulling out of NATO. Like, first of all, I think it's good that maybe we're gonna make Europe great again, because if Trump pulls out of NATO, we have to make Europe great again, or make Russia even greater.
Oh, damn it.
We're gonna need some guns. we're gonna need to start learning how to shoot them.
It's hard to tell, because the Democrats have some very strong weapons for the election and some very weak ones as well. But the biggest one is the whole abortion mess thing.
Nah.
The Republicans pushed hard for the abortion thing, and the Democrats are going to drag it in their face all till the end.
Actually, there are a lot of Republicans that they're called Republicans never with Trump. They're called no Trumpers. Because, I mean, if you ask me, if I was an American guy, maybe I would be a little bit more Republican than Democrat. But for me, Trump is not like my type of Republican. Like, if you ask me who is my favorite president, I would tell you, like, I mean, historically, now that I've experienced myself, Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm. Because he was more like charismatic.
Because he freed the fucking Eastern Europe from that bastard.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, that's a cool guy. You cannot say anything. And he was the first one to say, make America great again.
Really?
Donald Trump copied him. That was his shit.
Okay.
He did copy him.
Isn't your favorite, good old Bill? Bill?
No, he's a pedophile. No, allegedly.
course. I mean, what are you going to do in the pedo island? You're a pedophile.
I mean, come on. He got the blowjob. Like it's like the COVID. Remember when the COVID was like from Wuhan, and it's not from a lab. There is the COVID lab in there, but it's not from the lab.
We have this lab where we're researching this kind of thing, but it's not from there.
No, it's from a bat. Everybody knows that.
Somebody fucked a bat. Somebody smoked I don't know, pangolin or something. It's not.
And now you have Bill Clinton, who officially has had an affair with a very young intern during his office. And now we have also recordings of him going to the Epstein Island. And Epstein had like a painting of him dressed like a woman.
Really?
And then he's like, no, we didn't do anything wrong.
The guy loved the ladies. That's for sure. But I mean, if I have to say which is my favorite US president, I'm going to have to go Barack. It's not...
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like Barack.
Really?
No.
Come on.
He bombed Libya, made this shit mess.
What do you do in Libya? You bomb Libya. It's what you do.
You bomb Libya together with the French, and now there are people like being trafficked.
It's chaos.
I don't like Barack.
Total chaos. But I don't know. To me, Barack, you could say this is fake. This is flashiness. Could be. But he brought a certain respect to the office, like a certain statesman's presence.
But that's it. That's the problem.
Trump is a little bit too much. It's too much.
No, I don't like Trump. I don't like Trump, but I think that first of all, Obama led to Trump. So, it's not that Americans woke up crazy and if you do great marketing and all the rest of the world think you're cool, because I mean he has swag. Let's be honest, but he led to Trump, and also the whole Democratic Party led to Trump because they didn't have anyone else apart of Hillary Clinton, who was pretty bad too. So yeah, I don't like Obama. I mean, I think he was swaggy, yeah, but I'm from Bulgaria. We are very big cynic. Very cynical.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So we're like, no, we don't need all the flashy shit. We need you to get to the point. And the point is you bomb the shit out of Libya, and now all Europe has problem with immigration stuff, and there is no whatsoever control. And so I think he had swag, but I don't think he was a good president. Also, there is... have you ever watched the movie Fahrenheit 11/9?
That's more about Bush, right?
No. There is Fahrenheit 9/11, and then they did 11/9 because 11/9 is when Trump got elected. 11th November 9, November, because
people are copying everything now because this
no, it's the same guy. It's the same guy who did the two movies. What is his name? I don't remember.
Yeah, the Columbine book.
Moore.
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore. So he did one. It's Fahrenheit 9/11 and Fahrenheit 11/9, and in the Fahrenheit 11/9, he shows how Obama goes to this place, Flint, in Michigan, where they have this poisoned water.
The water thing, yeah.
And he does he fakes that he drinks the water in the middle of a black community. And I mean, bro, you literally got elected by the black community and you're fucking on them like this. So I think he has a great PR, but I don't think...
So you think it's more like show over substance?
We had the Italian guy Renzi, who was trying to copy him. He ended up really badly. He's now at 2%, something, barely making it into the parliament. So I want to see facts, and I don't know. Trump was too much stress.
No.
Too much stress.
Obama as a presence, as a statesman's presence, as a charismatic guy who shows a face of the American people, which is more kind, but also more cultured, we could say. Yes. And even it was a good, if you say that the president is also a representation, it put the Americans in a good place as representation, let's say, no? Before him, Bush was too much of a cowboy, in my opinion. Also, Iraq War, kind of a mess. What the fuck? Weapons of mass destruction. What the hell?
That was not Bush personally.
I mean, his cabinet. It's I don't know. Can we say it's him? Is it Cheney? Is it the cabinet? Is it the Pentagon? Who knows, right? But it's on his watch, so you have to carry it. Same when you say Obama bombed Libya. Is it Obama? Is it the Pentagon? Is it what? we're going to put it on somebody. Let's put it on the president. Bush for Iraq. Let's say Obama, Libya. That's fair, I think.
Yeah. Well, in that case, yes. But I mean, I don't know. Bush was, I don't know.
To me, the worst.
To
me, the worst. Mm-hmm.
To you, the worst.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he was more institutional than Trump.
2 wars for no real reason. That's a big one.
Well, if you consider that
him and Buchanan, that's pre-Lincoln.
I don't know well the older ones, so I cannot say about who is really the worst. Maybe the guy with the Watergate shit.
Nixon.
He was probably in the very bottom of the barrel.
Could be. I don't know enough actually. I know all the jokes, but I don't know enough about the.
I know the Watergate. There was some espionage shit on the other party. Bullshit.
Is it such a big deal?
They still held. It's a hotel. That's why it's called Watergate.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know?
In Washington.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Otherwise, I would have booked in that hotel. And the Watergate.
I mean, I think the deal is that they spied on the opposition party. He was a Republican. They were spying on the Democrats. He got caught. Somebody offered money somewhere that somebody had to be paid to shut up. Everything got in the open, so he had to resign in shame.
Yeah, he had to resign. Otherwise,
it is shitty. But to me, starting 2 wars for nothing, that is shittier. It's not.
Okay, let's finish it like this. Let's say there is Biden-Trump now, almost. Like 99% sure, but let's say it's sure. There is nobody else.
Do you think there's a back plan for Biden? Like he's going to drop at some point, and they're going to do the classic switcheroo, like focus on Biden, then somebody comes, and a new face that is not so dented and so attacked, so it's more fresh. I'm hoping that's what they do.
No. He's running. He's running.
Not.
There is no other run. Like he's sure. It's like it's him.
Okay. Fuck.
But I mean, Shane Gillis has this great joke that Biden is the best opponent to Trump. Because, like, Trump in every debate tries to drag you down and get in your head and start talking shit. And you cannot get in Joe's head.
Because there's no head.
Not even Joe is in there.
What?
Like, your sandwich crack. What? No, Shane Gillis, shout out. He has this.
Yeah,
so,
really fun guy.
Who would you vote if you were American? Like Trump or Biden?
Fuck. I mean, I know it's a weak answer, but I might not vote. Is there a third? There's a third guy. Wait, there's a third guy.
Oh, the third guy
is Kennedy, is it?
Yeah, but he's super conspiratorial, like he's into the COVID vaccine shit.
And he talks like he has a golf ball in his throat.
Yeah, because he had a vaccine injury.
Maybe the poor guy is actually in pain, and I'm sorry.
No, he had a vaccine injury, he claims.
Mm-hmm. I thought it's smoking. To me, it sounded like this is a deep smoker.
No, you can hear him when he was young. He had a normal voice. And then he says he had this vaccine injury from something. Mm-hmm. And now he's the no vax, no COVID. But he's fucking jacked. Did you see him? Like, shirtless?
Really? Yeah, but are we voting a guy based on muscle? No.
Arnold.
Would do amazing. Yeah. Anyway. Would do so that guy probably. I mean, it might be what we would call a protest vote, which is kind of lame, I know, but that dude probably.
I don't know. I for me it's hard. Like as a European, I would say Biden because it's more advantageous maybe for us. But if I was American and I know they don't give a shit about Europe, then they don't even know. Like it's normal. Like like I don't know. When I hear a news about something in Asia has happened, I'm like, well, too bad. But it's not that I'm super impressed.
That's your Bulgarian part. Yeah, your Bulgarian DNA.
Yeah,
very pragmatic. No,
everybody is like this. Like if the further away, like if they say, I don't know, they're bombing Yemen. They were talking about this for years.
Yeah.
Were you waking up in the morning thinking, oh my God, Yemen is being bombed today? So bad.
And nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit.
So I guess Americans don't give a shit about Russia and Ukraine because they don't relate to that. So I think that they would vote for Trump because he seems to be more awake.
It's hard to tell how much of Trump is also a flash and what he would actually do. It's not...
Yeah, of course he's not going to do shit.
He's going to do 1/5 of what he
Well,
says.
let's put it this way. He says, like, let's pull out of NATO. Let's pull out of all the alliances. We buy F-35s from Lockheed Martin.
Mhm.
We buy all possible kind of weapon systems. And, of course, we're not stupid. We're not going to keep buying them from them. So we're going to start making our own shit. And Lockheed Martin will be like, bro,
And
we're going to kill you.
and it's too
CIA,
advanced.
hello, can you kill him?
I mean, the EF-2000, the Eurofighter, the European airplane, it's a very advanced thing, but I don't think it's on the level of the American stuff like the F-22, the F-35, and
Yeah,
those,
the F-35 are the
those
next
things.
gen.
Yeah. On F-22, it's like the biggest.
And we help them make it a little bit, but
Yeah.
not really. It's a joint venture, the F-35.
Yeah, but the Eurofighter too. It's UK, Italy, Spain, and Germany.
Yes, but this
So-
one is America mainly, with a little bit of Italy, and I don't know who else. The Netherlands. Germany is not participating. They're now
No.
just buying it.
We're busy doing Eurofighters and buying some too. Of those.
That's cool plane, cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Well,
Fun equipment.
I think we covered pretty much for the first episode ever.
We solved half of the world. Half of the world's problems are fixed. And yeah.
Well, pretty cool. To everybody who have watched the first episode, always subscribe so that we can have a feedback if you guys like this new podcast show.
We'll try for the next ones to be even better. And this will be an experience of growth.
Take care.